Most people over 60 are told the same thing about digestion. Just eat more fiber and drink more water. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. More fiber alone does not protect your gut, your energy, or your independence. In fact, piling raw bran onto an older gut that is not ready for it can leave you more bloated, more uncomfortable, and more discouraged than when you started. The problem was never that you ate too little fiber. The problem is that you were never told which vegetables actually feed the living community inside you. Digestive complaints are one of the most common reasons older adults visit a clinic, and gut specialists see the same pattern every single day. A gut that is slowed down, a bacterial community that is thinned out, and a person who has quietly stopped eating the very foods that could turn it around. This is not rare. This is the standard story after 60. So here is what I'm going to give you today. 5 underrated vegetables, counted down from 5 to 1, that feed your gut in a way ordinary advice completely misses. Each one comes with the exact amount, the safe way to prepare it, and the mistake most people make. And the number 1 vegetable on this list is something almost nobody talks about. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years of your digestion, your immune strength, and your daily comfort. Let me tell you why your doctor probably never covered this. A typical appointment runs about 12 minutes. In that time, your doctor has to review your history, check your current concerns, look at your medications, and make a plan. There is simply no room to sit down and teach you how the bacteria in your colon actually work. Prevention through food takes time to explain, and time is the one thing a short visit does not have. So you get the short version. Eat more fiber, drink more water, keep moving. It is not wrong. It is just nowhere near enough. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science. A 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. No pills to buy, no fear, just the mechanisms and the exact steps, explained slowly, the way they should have been explained the first time. And the stakes here are higher than comfort. Your gut is tied directly to your independence. It governs how well you absorb protein to keep your muscles strong. It shapes your immune defense against infection. It even influences your mood and your steadiness on your feet. When your gut thins out, everything downstream gets harder. Staying independent starts lower down than most people ever realize. So think about this for a moment. If you are over 60 and you have noticed your digestion is not what it was 10 years ago, type your age and your country in the comments right now. I want to see how many of you are in this exact chapter of life. Now, before we count down the vegetables, you need one idea, just one. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows. Inside your large intestine lives a community of trillions of bacteria. Picture a garden. A healthy garden is full of many different plants, thriving and crowding out the weeds. Your gut bacteria work the same way. When the garden is rich and varied, it protects you. When it thins out, weeds move in. Here is the part that matters after 60. That garden does not feed on ordinary food. It feeds on a special kind of fiber called prebiotic fiber, the type most older adults barely eat. Prebiotic fiber is the compost that keeps your inner garden alive. Starve the garden, and it shrinks. Feed it the right compost, and it comes back. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. Let us begin the countdown at number 5. Fermented cabbage, better known as sauerkraut. This is not the soggy cabbage boiled to death on a holiday table. This is raw cabbage that has been naturally fermented. Here is why it works. When cabbage ferments, living bacteria grow inside it and turn it slightly sour. Think of it like a starter culture that seeds new life. Eating it is like sending fresh gardeners straight into your gut garden, along with the food they need to settle in. It delivers both the living cultures and the fiber in one spoonful. For a gut that has thinned out over the years, that combination is quietly powerful. Large clinical reviews have consistently linked fermented vegetables with a more diverse gut community and better digestion. The science here is well established and still growing. Now the protocol and the numbers matter. Start with just 1 tablespoon of raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut once a day. Not the shelf-stable kind that has been heated, because heat kills the living cultures. Look in the refrigerated section and check the label for the words raw or naturally fermented. Eat it alongside a meal, not on an empty stomach. After 1 to 2 weeks, if you feel comfortable, build up slowly to 2 or 3 tablespoons a day. The mistake people make is dumping half a jar in on day 1 and then feeling gassy and bloated. Slow and steady wins here every time. A senior safe note: if you have high blood pressure and you watch your salt, remember that fermented foods can be salty. Rinse the sauerkraut gently under water before eating to lower the sodium, and start with the smaller amount. If you notice sharp discomfort rather than mild adjustment, stop and check with your doctor before continuing. Pair it with a source of healthy fat, like a few slices of avocado or a drizzle of olive oil. The fat helps your body settle the meal and makes the sour taste much easier to enjoy. But fermented cabbage mostly seeds and feeds the community near the surface. It does not reach deep enough to feed the bacteria that live further down, where some of the most important work happens. For that, we need a vegetable that carries its fiber all the way through. That is exactly what number 4 does. Number 4 is asparagus. Those humble green spears are one of the richest everyday sources of a prebiotic fiber called inulin. Let me explain what that means for you. Inulin is a fiber your stomach cannot break down, so it travels untouched all the way to your large intestine, still intact, like a delivery truck that refuses to unload until it reaches the very last house on the street. Down there, your good bacteria finally receive it and feast. That deep delivery is what feeds the colony ordinary fiber never reaches. Research on inulin-rich vegetables has repeatedly shown a rise in the beneficial bacteria that keep the gut lining strong. This is one of the most studied prebiotics we have. Here is the protocol. Aim for 4 to 5 medium spears of cooked asparagus 3 to 4 times a week. Cook it until it is tender, never raw, because gentle cooking makes it easier on an older digestive system while keeping the inulin intact. Steam it or roast it lightly with a little olive oil. Do not boil it hard for 20 minutes because that washes nutrients into the water you pour down the sink. The common error is cooking it to mush. You want it tender, but still with a little bite. A senior safe modification: if asparagus has ever given you strong gas, start with just 2 spears and build up over 2 weeks. Introduce it slowly, always with a full glass of water, so the fiber moves smoothly. Sharp cramping means stop and slow down, not push through. Pair asparagus with a lean protein like eggs or fish, because the steady fiber slows digestion just enough to help you absorb that protein better and stay full longer. Now, asparagus delivers wonderful fiber, but it is seasonal, and some people find it hard on the stomach. What if the most powerful gut food was something already sitting in your kitchen, something you have eaten your whole life, but prepared the wrong way? That is number 3. Number 3 is the humble potato, cooked and then cooled. Yes, the ordinary potato. But the secret is not in the potato itself. It is in the temperature. Here is the mechanism, and it is a wonderful one. When you cook a potato and then let it cool completely in the refrigerator, something remarkable happens. The starch inside physically rearranges itself into a new form called resistant starch. Think of loose, tangled threads that cool down and lock into a tight, sturdy weave your stomach can no longer unravel. Because your body cannot digest it, that starch travels down to your gut bacteria and becomes a feast. You took a food you already know and turned it into powerful gut compost just by cooling it. Studies on resistant starch have consistently shown it boosts the production of a healing compound called butyrate, which nourishes the cells lining your colon. This is well documented in the nutrition literature. The protocol is simple and cheap. Cook 2 small to medium potatoes, then refrigerate them for at least 12 hours, ideally overnight. Once cooled, you can eat them cold in a potato salad or gently rewarmed, because light reheating keeps most of the resistant starch intact. Aim for this 3 to 4 times a week. The mistake people make is eating the potato piping hot straight from the oven, which gives you none of this benefit. Cook, cool, then eat. That is the whole trick. A senior safe note: keep the portion modest, about the size of your fist, especially if you watch your blood sugar. Cooling actually lowers the blood sugar impact compared to a hot potato. which is a bonus. But if you live with diabetes, keep an eye on your numbers as you add this, and talk to your doctor about where it fits. Pair your cooled potato with a little vinegar, as in a simple vinaigrette. The vinegar further softens the blood sugar response and helps the whole meal sit gently. Now, resistant starch is a magnificent fuel, but it is one single type of fuel. Your gut garden thrives on variety, on many different fibers arriving together. So what if one vegetable could deliver several kinds of prebiotic fiber at once, layered like a full meal for your bacteria? That brings us to number 2. Number 2 is the leek. That long, mild cousin of the onion is one of the most underrated gut foods in the entire produce aisle. Here is why leeks are special. They carry the same deep-reaching inulin as asparagus, but they also bring a second family of prebiotic fibers alongside it. Imagine feeding your garden not one type of compost, but several at once. So many different beneficial plants can flourish together. That layered variety is what makes leeks so valuable for an aging gut that has lost some of its diversity. Population studies of people who eat plenty of the onion and leek family show consistently better markers of gut health. The pattern is steady across the research. The protocol: use 1 medium leek 3 to 4 times a week. Slice the white and pale green parts, rinse them well because grit hides between the layers, and cook them gently. Soften them in a little olive oil for 5 to 7 minutes until tender, or add them to soups and stews. Cooking makes leeks far gentler on an older stomach than raw onion, while keeping the prebiotic fiber intact. The error people make is using only the tough dark green tops, which are far less pleasant. Stick to the tender white and pale green, a senior safe modification. If onions have ever troubled your digestion, start with just half a leek, well cooked, and always drink water alongside. Build up over 2 weeks. Any sharp discomfort means ease back, not force forward. Pair leeks with a bean or lentil soup, because combining 2 different prebiotic sources gives your bacteria the rich variety they crave. But every vegetable so far, as good as it is, delivers a modest amount of prebiotic fiber. What if there were one vegetable that contained more of it than almost any other food on earth? A true powerhouse most people have never even cooked. That is number 1, and it changes everything. Number 1, the crown of this list, is the Jerusalem artichoke. It is not from Jerusalem, and it is not the leafy artichoke you may be picturing. It is a small, knobbly root vegetable, sometimes sold as a sunchoke, and it is one of the most concentrated gut foods in existence. Here is why it earns the crown. Remember inulin, that deep delivery prebiotic fiber we met in the asparagus and the leek? The Jerusalem artichoke is packed with it, containing far more inulin by weight than almost any common vegetable. If asparagus was a single delivery truck reaching the last house on the street, the Jerusalem artichoke is an entire convoy arriving all at once. It floods your large intestine with the exact fuel your beneficial bacteria are starving for. Those bacteria then multiply, crowd out the harmful weeds, and produce healing compounds that strengthen the very lining of your gut. This is the deepest, richest feeding your inner garden can receive from a single food. For a gut that has thinned out over decades, this is the vegetable that can bring the garden roaring back to life. Research on inulin-rich foods has repeatedly demonstrated significant growth in beneficial bacteria, such as bifidobacteria, along with better gut lining integrity. The Jerusalem artichoke sits at the very top of the natural inulin sources. Now listen very closely to this protocol, because with a food this powerful, how you start matters more than with anything else on this list. Begin with a tiny amount. 1 small Jerusalem artichoke, no bigger than a golf ball, cooked well, just once for your first serving. Because it is so concentrated, too much too soon will cause real gas and bloating. This vegetable earned an old nickname for exactly that reason. Peel it or scrub it clean, then roast it or steam it until fully tender, never raw. Eat that small portion and wait a full day to see how you feel. If you are comfortable, slowly increase over 2 to 3 weeks toward 1 modest serving, 2 or 3 times a week. The single biggest mistake people make is eating a large helping on the very first day. feeling miserable, and swearing off it forever. Patience is everything here. Start small, go slow, and let your gut bacteria adjust. A senior safe modification is essential with this one. If you have a sensitive stomach or a condition like irritable bowel, this vegetable may be too strong, and that is perfectly fine. Start with literally half of that golf ball portion, or choose one of the gentler vegetables higher on this list instead. Always take it with a full glass of water. Sharp pain or severe bloating means stop, not push through. And introduce nothing else new on the same day, so you always know how your body is responding. Pair the Jerusalem artichoke with a simple, easy-to-digest protein like a poached egg or a piece of white fish. That keeps the meal gentle while your bacteria enjoy their feast, and it helps you hold on to the muscle that keeps you independent. So here is why this crown vegetable can change your next 10 years. Your gut is not a fixed thing that only declines. It is a living garden that responds at any age to what you feed it. Feed it the richest compost there is, patiently and consistently. And you are not just easing bloating today. You are rebuilding the diversity that protects your immune system, sharpens your absorption of nutrients, and quietly guards your independence for the decade ahead. That is the power almost nobody talks about. One small, knobbly root, treated with patience, feeding the garden that keeps the whole body strong. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation and nutrition literature. A 74-year-old woman who had struggled with constant bloating, sluggish digestion, and low energy for years. She had done what she was told. She added bran to her breakfast and drank more water, and yet she felt worse, not better, more bloated, and more discouraged with every passing month. Then her approach changed. Instead of piling on raw bran, she began feeding her gut the right vegetables, slowly and in order. A spoonful of fermented cabbage with lunch, cooked asparagus a few times a week, potatoes cooked and cooled overnight, gentle leeks in her soups, and finally, once her gut had adjusted, tiny portions of Jerusalem artichoke built up patiently over a month. Within 8 weeks, the change was clear. Her bloating eased. Her digestion became regular and comfortable for the first time in years. Her energy lifted, and she told her family she finally felt like herself again. Nothing exotic, no expensive supplements, just the right vegetables, prepared the right way, introduced slowly. So let us turn this into a simple plan you can start with right now. Here is your action matrix. Tonight, do one thing. Cook 2 potatoes and put them in the refrigerator to cool overnight, so your first batch of resistant starch is ready by tomorrow. This week, buy 1 jar of raw refrigerated sauerkraut and take 1 tablespoon a day with a meal. Also this week, add cooked asparagus or gently cooked leeks to 3 of your dinners. Next week, once those feel comfortable, introduce 1 small Jerusalem artichoke, no bigger than a golf ball, and see how your body responds. And through all of it, follow one rule. Increase every one of these fibers slowly, always with a full glass of water, and never add 2 new ones on the same day. One more thing before you go. If you take a blood thinner or any medication where your doctor watches your vitamin K and leafy greens, talk to your doctor before making big changes to how many vegetables you eat. It is a simple conversation, and it keeps you safe. Think of someone in your life who has been fighting with their digestion and feeling let down by the same tired advice. Share this video with them. It might be the thing that finally makes it click. And tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. If this channel has earned it, subscribe so I can keep bringing you the science your appointments never have time for. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Laura Bennett. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.